Welcome to the Cheryl Action Jackson Show. It has been an incredible week. My God, my phone has been ringing off the wall. I'm so excited that you enjoyed our first show. I told you that you would, and we're so delighted to be back. Thank you for all your emails. Thank you for your texts. Thank you for your tweets. We are excited to be back on the air and to bring you nothing but the best that DFW has to offer. And I knew you would like Cynthia Smoot, and she's coming back on the show again today to talk about us discovering Dallas. But today also is a special show for me because I'm going to introduce you to you segment by segment the people who run Minnie's Food Pantry, because most importantly for this show and for me, it's to be a platform to encourage you to come and join us at Minnie's Food Pantry, to volunteer and to give back. And so I want you to know who you will be working with when you come to Minnie's Food Pantry. But for right now, we're going to kick it off. We're going to discover Dallas with Cynthia Smoot. We'll be back in just a moment. And guess what? Keep those emails coming. I read each and every one of them. Thank you so much.
Local TV stations have started running public service announcements that tell people where to find food banks, even as the food banks don't have enough to meet the demand. As we speak, similar scenes are playing out in cities and towns across America.
Welcome back to the Cheryl Jackson Show. Cheryl Action Jackson Show. And I'm here with one of my favorite people, my favorite lifestyle blogger. Her name is Cynthia Smoot. And you met her on our first show, but she's about to tell you about a 4-letter word that you're going to love every single Saturday. It's spelled F-R-E-E. What's free, Cynthia? What's free? What's free?
I love to find events that are free, right? Then you have no excuse to not get out and about and enjoy the city. So free. Well, I told you about this event last week. It was so good. I'm going to tell you about it some more today.
Tell it to me, Cynthia.
And it is a fashion exhibit at the Dallas Galleria called Decadence. Fashions of the 1920s. Decadence. I just love that word right there.
It's a beautiful word.
So it is an exhibit of fashions, accessories, shoes, jewelry, curated by Ken Weber, a vintage martini. It's located on level 1 at the Dallas Galleria, and it is free. So it's beautiful clothing, everything, all the fashions that you've seen on Downton Abbey or from The Great Gatsby.
That was my favorite, one of my favorite movies.
What you see in this exhibit is going to blow your mind. It is beautiful fashions, one-of-a-kind pieces that you would never see anywhere. Ken's brought them all to Dallas in this amazing free exhibit at the Galleria. It runs through February 28th, so you have all month to go and check it out. I really encourage everybody to get over there because it is spectacular.
Fantastic. I can't wait. What else do you have for us, Cynthia?
Well, you know, normally business events are kind of dry and
blah,
businessy.
Right.
But I had a super fun event hit my mailbox. And, you know, we're both entrepreneurs, right? So I'm always looking for ways to get motivated, look for new ideas, how to increase my productivity, new tips and tricks. And this event really interested me. It's presented by Core 24, and it's called the Dallas Executive Confessional. It's going to be on February 16th.
Confessional.
Well, it's the title of it was Life and Business Lessons Often Come from Unexpected Places. And what they've done is they've found 3 entrepreneurs and who are going to share how interesting life lessons and how they applied those to business. One guy is going to talk to you about what he learned from being in a Mexican prison for 24 hours.
Oh my, I bet that'll be interesting.
One executive turned a near-death experience into a way to increase his productivity by 20%. With changes that he says just takes 15 minutes a day. So I'm curious about that one because I could increase my productivity.
Right, me too.
And then another woman's going to talk about what she learned working on her father's cattle ranch and how that actually taught her more than her college MPA program.
Now, I can't believe that.
So
are you going?
I'm definitely going.
So you're going to come back and tell us about it, right?
For sure. So that event, the tickets are $55. You can get more information by visiting core24.org or go to their Facebook page, Core 24.
Fantastic, fantastic. And for you, what are you doing this weekend?
Well, on Saturday, February 20th, so a week from today, one of my favorite events of the year, you know I'm a girl that loves her clothes and shoes, Julie McCullough is putting on the Pin Show. And this is one of my favorite fashion events of the year because Dallas is full of amazing designers. But I love this show because it's all about emerging designers, names you've probably never heard of or that are just coming onto the scene. People not just from Dallas, but from really all over the Southwest. And so it's an amazing way to discover new talent. It's at the Bomb Factory in Deep Ellum, and the tickets start at just $25. So it's
nothing.
easy to get into.
That's nothing. Speaking of a designer, my favorite one, and my girl, Abby Farron.
Love Abby Farron.
Love, right out of here, out of Dallas, and Abby donates all to Minnie's Food Pantry. She's a big, huge supporter, and I love when people from this area give back to this area. She's amazing. She's used her designs to change a lot of lives.
Well, and she's a great example of somebody who started out as an emerging designer, and now she's on the national scene. So Dallas is full of these people who we're going to discover here.
Yes.
And a year from now, you're going to be like, I heard about that on Cheryl's show.
Fantastic. Anything else you want to share with us?
Lastly, you know, as a mother, I'm always looking for great family things to do with my children, and the Perot Museum is one of my favorite haunts because it's an interactive museum, especially being the mother of a boy. They love to climb, touch, feel. Well, he's not a baby anymore. He's 15, but I can still get him there for these educational things.
Right.
They have a great exhibit going on right now called Creatures of Light, Nature's Bioluminescence, and it explores the natural phenomenon of living light, everything from fireflies in your backyard to glow-in-the-dark creatures of the deep sea. So
that sounds intriguing.
Well, and it is all like dark lit, fluorescent, like kids are going to go crazy over this exhibit, and it's super interesting for kids of all ages. Like, I love going there. I learn something new all the time.
Fantastic. So tell us how we can contact you. All of these segments that you talk about, they'll be on your blog. I'm sure you'll write about them.
Of course. Listen, I talk about these events and so many more at osocynthia.com. So whether you love food, fashion, the arts, business, whatever it is, I can assure you I'm talking about it.
Yes, you are. And thank you for talking about it on the Cheryl Action Jackson
You're welcome.
Show. We'll be back in just a moment.
Local TV stations have started running public service announcements that tell people where to find food banks, even as the food banks don't have enough to meet the demand. As we speak, similar scenes are playing out in cities and towns across America.
I'm so delighted to introduce to you the next segments because they are the people who have helped my organization and my heart grow and blossom into what it is today. A lot of people ask me, how do we do what we're doing at Minnie's Food Pantry? How did you take an organization, grassroots, 2 cans of corn, and really nothing else but a whisper from God to feed the hungry? And now it's a national organization providing over 3 million meals to hundreds of thousands of people. And so for me, it is my honor and my duty to you to introduce to you to some of the players. It takes a team to do what we are doing. And if you're laying at home and it's early in the morning and you're trying to decide what do I need to do with my life, I want to introduce you to some people who helped me do what I knew I was supposed to do at Minnie's Food Pantry. And so in this particular segment, I am pleased to introduce my executive administrative assistant and anything else that I need her to be, the woman who's always by my side, keeping me going. Her name is Zoya Jackson. Hi, Zoya, and welcome to the Cheryl Action Jackson Show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that you are here, and my viewers need to understand that for me, it's about going out of your comfort zone. And so I know right now you are not in your element. You're not in your comfort zone, but you're here because duty calls. And when duty calls, you just say, okay, I'll do it. And I'm thankful. And that's what Minnie's has been about. It's been about people who had expertise in this area, but then when I walk in and say, can you do this? Then you do it. And one of the great examples for me and for you is you came to be my executive assistant, but when we needed grant funding, I began to ask you, and you said, I'll try it. And tell me about that. What was that experience like? Me, first of all, asking you to do something you hadn't done before.
All you can do is try, and like you always say, there's no, when somebody tells you no, it's never no, it's just not now. So what's the worst that can happen? So I got behind the computer, just started typing away. Some people did say no, but a lot of people, when they said no, you know, it never feels good to be told no, but then there are those people that come right behind them and tell you yes, and sometimes even give you more than what you ask for. So what
would you tell to someone that's watching right now and they've received a lot of no's in their life?
Just keep trying, just keep going. You will get that yes, and it will come.
And talk about the yeses that we've received, because you've got some pretty substantial grants for Minnie's Food Pantry over the years. And one of the grants that I am really, really excited about was the Walmart grant. We've been trying to get a Walmart, me personally, have been trying to write a grant for Walmart for the last 5 years. And so to get a Walmart grant, what was that experience like, just receiving it from the foundation?
I remember coming into the office, it was a Monday morning, and we were preparing for our staff meeting. I think Erica was there as well. And I opened up the mail and I just started screaming, and she thought something crazy had just happened. She thought something, something broke. I must have gotten hurt or something. And she comes running into my office. She said, "What happened? What happened?" And I said, "We got $25,000. And she started jumping up and down, going crazy. And I just remember that staff meeting, breaking the news to you as well. And I think tears came running down your cheeks as always. So it was great. It was a great feeling. So.
Yeah, it is a good feeling. And it's a great feeling working with your family and with your friends. And so, full disclosure, Zoya was working for someone else, and then I met her, and she ended up marrying my son, and I have 2 beautiful grandchildren because of that, 2 beautiful grandsons that we will bring on the show and introduce you to them because they are amazing. You want to laugh in the mornings? Wait till I bring on my grandchildren. We're going to have a grandchildren show segment for sure. Talk about sponsorships, though. You work really closely with me in the gala, and talk about how people can be a part of Minnie's Food Pantry Gala.
You can always visit our website, minniesfoodpantry.org. Send us an email. You can email me at zoya@minniesfoodpantry.org. If you ever have any questions about sponsorship opportunities, we always have a way for you to help, whether it be through the gala, where we have had people such as Pat Houston. She donated some Whitney Houston items.
Amazing.
Devon Franklin and Megan Good, they donated tickets to their Annie premiere, which generated raised enough money to provide over 300,000 meals to families that we serve in our community.
Right, and then we've had Will Packard, who donated to the new hit movie that just came out, Ride Along 2.
He's also did Ride Along 1, 2 when it first premiered as well. So
Hollywood is really, Hollywood and Hunger really are connecting through Minnie's Food Pantry.
Especially with the red carpet experience that we provide. So
Right. So Zoya, if you want to see the face behind your check, when you send it to Minnie's Food Pantry, she's the woman that takes care of handling the sponsorships and handling all those things. And she's so nice. So why don't you call Zoya or email Zoya? Her email is zoya@minniesfoodpantry.org. And tell her you want to become a part of our great organization. And Zoya, it's such a privilege working with you every single day. I'm so excited.
Likewise.
And can't wait to see what 2016 has for both of us. This is Dr. Cheryl Action Jackson. I'll be back with another of my staff members in just a moment.
Local TV stations have started running public service announcements that tell people where to find food banks, even as the food banks don't have enough to meet the demand. As we speak, similar scenes are playing out in cities and towns across America.
So pleased to introduce you, as I said, to my staff, and I have the most incredible staff. I celebrate them every single day because without them, I know that Minnie's Food Pantry would not be where it is today. It takes teamwork to make the dream work. I don't know what you're doing in your life, but let me just challenge you to surround yourself with great positive people who are willing to go a step beyond what you're willing to do, even for yourself, and that will motivate you. And that's what you've done. So here to my right, I'm so pleased to bring her back on the show, and she'll be on the show every single week, bringing us people who help Minnie's Food Pantry. Director of Operations, Erica Simon. How are you, Erica?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm glad that you are here. I'm really excited that you're here because you've done a lot for Minnie's Food Pantry since we began, and I think one of the brightest moments for me is all the volunteers and all the groups that you've been successful in bringing into Minnie's Food Pantry. Talk to me about how you're doing what you're doing and then what it means to you.
Well, with what you said about the volunteers, I want, whenever someone sends a request to volunteer at Minnie's Food Pantry, I look at their initial request and if they really want to be there, because that's what makes the difference with people that help in your organization. We have the red carpet rolled out experience for our customers that come in. We also do that for our volunteers as well. And I think it's important to get good corporations, organizations, and groups that come out because they could then go back and be advocates for Minnie's Food Pantry, tell them about their great experience that we have.
Right. Last year we did almost 300 food drives through Minnie's Food Pantry. Can you talk, if a company was trying to get involved, could you talk a little bit about some of the ways that they could get involved with Minnie's Food Pantry?
Yeah, they go to Minnie's Food minniesfoodpantry.org. You're going to see how I can help, and there's links where you could donate funds. And you can also sign up to volunteer and host a food drive. And the food drives are so useful to us because we do have a partner agency that we could purchase food from, but the food drives, we could be kind of specific on what we need at that time. And so with that, we ensure that our customers, our clients that we serve, leave out with food that they could go back home, prepare meals for their families. So if, Cheryl, you want to do a food drive, I say, okay, well, we need, these top 3 items.
We just get what you request.
We just get what you request, yeah.
Which is awesome. Talk to me about a special moment at Minnie's. We've had so many throughout the years, but for me, one of the most recent ones was sharing one with you. When you came running into my office and you was like, Cheryl, we've got to go. It was a call that stopped the office. Would you share with my viewers about that call?
Yeah, so we received a phone call, and I was like, Cheryl's like, Erica, what are you doing? I was in the pantry loading up some food. I said, well, we received a call from a woman who hadn't eaten in 3 days. So 3 days she has not eaten any food, and she called Minnie's Food Pantry. And Cheryl's like, what? She was like, knowing Cheryl, she's like, let me give her a call. So Cheryl calls her and just verified the stories, and literally tears are coming down her face. And she's like, we're going to go. Yeah. So we loaded up our van, and we went to the woman's apartment, who was literally maybe a mile away from our pantry.
Right. So she's in the affluent city of Plano, a mile away from our pantry.
So we pull up to the apartment, and she's like sitting in the window in a wheelchair. And she's just waiting for us to show up. It was just like a kid, who's waiting on Christmas Day to open presents.
Right.
She was just waiting there. And so we walk up to her door. We bring in the food, the bags, and everything that we have for her. And she's just literally crying. And as I go into her kitchen, there's like nothing in there. There's nothing in her pantry, nothing on the kitchen counter. So she desperately needed the food. And, we asked her, why did you call Minnie's? Why did you call? And she said, when I went there before, the way that I was treated, you welcomed me with open arms, and I knew if I could get in touch with someone at Minnie's Food Pantry that you would help me.
That's amazing.
And we did just that.
Yes, you did. You did just that. And I'm going to tell you, we actually caught that on video. So next week when you tune in, we're going to talk a little bit more about the story. We're going to even see if she wants to come and share her story. Because talk about that. We had someone actually adopt her, and now...
So one of our regular volunteers, we have the best volunteers in the world. We really do.
Yes, we do.
And so whenever they come to Minnie's, they can't let us go.
Right.
And they become a part of our family.
That's what it is.
And so they seen the video online, one of our volunteers, and she actually said, hey, I want to go bring her food. And we put them two in contact, and she goes every now and then and check on her and make sure everything is going okay. And she's adopted her.
She's adopted her, and now she's every month this woman knows that she's okay. She's on disability, but she knows that she can call Minnie's Food Pantry, and we're going to take care of her. And that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that this show will motivate you. If you're not doing anything, did you know that $1 provides 3 meals at minniesfoodpantry.org? You can log on, you can donate $1 for 3 meals. But if you're not doing anything, I just challenge you to do something. It doesn't take anything big, just a step. When we started Minnie's Food Pantry, wasn't anything big. The only thing that we had to give to people were a couple canned goods, and if we had meat, the only meat we gave was peanut butter. It was called protein, and we were happy. Then we moved to tuna, and when we moved to tuna, we were like, we're giving them meat now, and we're just really excited. And now we're gonna do a video of Minnie's Food Pantry next week, and we'll start sharing stories with you about the people who we are helping, and then about how you are helping us help them. But this is Dr. Cheryl Action Jackson saying, log on to minniesfoodpantry.org. Don't have to do anything big, but do something today before you start your day. And I'll be back with my final guest, Robert Jackson, just a moment. Stick around.
Local TV stations have started running public service announcements that tell people where to find food banks, even as the food banks don't have enough to meet the demand. As we speak, similar scenes are playing out in cities and towns across America.
Great show so far. I know you enjoyed the tips that Cynthia Smoot gave to us for discovering Dallas, and then you met some of my staff. And here Cheryl, I'm so pleased to introduce this staff member because he's my son, and it's every parent wants to know that their son and their family is taken care of, and for me to be able to work with my son on the level in which we work, it's just amazing. So introducing to you my son, Robert Jackson. How are you, son?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Robert, you was with Minnie's when we first started, and tell me about what have you seen happen over the years?
I've seen a lot of people just be impacted in a positive way, simply put, on both sides, the volunteer side and the client side. There's you can make a difference in any way on any playing field, and to see the response of the people by simply showing love and caring for others has been truly phenomenal.
I totally agree. I've seen a lot of people. For me, being able to work with Eric and being able to work with Zoya, and then to bring you into the fold as well, when we come in on a daily basis, we are all like team. It's almost like the Power Rangers when you were growing up and they all had their special powers, and when they came together, it was just simply amazing. And for me to see you, I've seen people like Starbucks, the company comes in, and they bring in, you know, special cups, and we didn't get one. They came and brought RJ a strawberry, whatever that was, but they didn't bring Cheryl something. What makes you special in the role in which you play at Minnie's?
That's a good question. I like to believe that it's the way that I treat people. I think everything stems from that. I think you can tell a lot about an individual about how they treat others. And so going back to the reason that made us want to get started and made us want to feed others, the fact that we were denied food assistance, we're a family, you had children, and so to see that dynamic and to see other people that are in need who also need help, the opportunity to be a blessing to them really excited me, and I grew anxious at a certain point to really just be able to lend a helping hand and to make sure the families were treated the way that we wanted to be treated.
And speaking of that, when the kids come to Minnie's Food Pantry, now, when I went to go get food stamps for us, like you said, I was denied. You were actually in school at the time. But where I went to in the government office, there were children everywhere. And I remember the parents, you know, just looking bewildered and puzzled at, you know, how people were treating them in that government office. And I just felt like nobody should be treated that way. And I thought about the children that were there. And in thinking about the children that were there, we created a program that is named after your daughter. It's her name is Camille, and I did not name her, full disclosure. So I'm thankful that you didn't say, "Oh, Mama, you did that because you wanted Camille's name." But it's spelled C-A meal. Every kid should see a meal. Talk to us about the Camille's Kids program.
It's an awesome program. Much thanks to Bank of America, where I formerly worked at, and so did Erica Simon.
So true.
They have supported us tremendously in more ways than one, but they sponsor that program for Camille's Kids. And so when all the children come into our food pantry, one of the first things we look to do is put a smile on their faces, which in turn helps relieve pressure and stress from the family and from the mother, father, whoever comes in. And so to be able to make that immediate impact and to see and to put joy on the smiles on the faces of children is very important, and it's been very fun. You can't really put into words what it means when you put joy into anybody's heart, and so that's it's been incredible. All the snacks that we grew up wanting and that you grew
Right.
up wanting, they now get for free at no charge, and they get it with a smile, and so it's been incredible. I mean, nothing short of amazing to just watch the amount of people that are blessed just by being in interaction with our organization.
You know, I've seen some of the parents bring their children in, and they're like, "I know it's not my day, but they just want a Camille's Kids bag." And that right there really brings a smile on my face. And I'll tell you what else brings a smile on my face, because I want you to share this. The other day when we were in the office, and I asked you where you were going, and you said, "I'm going to Motel 6.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me just tell you why he went. Go ahead and share it, son.
A gentleman called in who was happened to be a veteran, and he was saying that he was having a hard time getting assistance. And so one of the reasons why we wanted to open up was so that we could treat everybody fairly and give them the assistance that they needed. And so he's legally blind, didn't have any transportation. And he said, "I've been calling around at every place, and the way that I've been talked to and the way that I've been treated has been horrible. So I figured this would be my last shot." And I asked him where he was. He said Motel 6. And so I told him if he'd give me about 30 minutes, he was diabetic. And so we went and gathered some things that would be able to help bless him. And when I got to his hotel, he was one of the most joyous people that I've ever met. He was hilarious, and he served our country for a significant amount of time, and was just wondering and surprised that he was not able to get the help and assistance that he needed. But one statement that he did make was, I don't know where in the world that you can find a co-founder that'll stop what they're doing to come take care of a need of somebody else. And so he went from being in that position to he just recently called back a day or two ago and stated that he finally got approved for the benefits. And so now he'll be receiving at least about $1,500 or so each month. And if we can, I'd like to bring him on the show. But if not, it doesn't matter what he wanted to do. Actually, after we leave here, I'm going by to Charlie to pick up a check for $400 because he wanted to pay it forward.
Wow.
And he wanted to make sure that somebody else was able to have a
Wow.
meal. No different than us being able to help provide that. So I think one of the greatest things that comes out of who we are and what we do goes straight back to the impact, because you ignite a passion in people and it makes them go out and seek their purpose. And so we're very grateful to be helping just point anybody in the direction that they need.
I think that's amazing. The story that Erica shared too made us stop our office, shut it down,
Absolutely.
and go to people. And no, we are not. We have a program that we'll be talking about, Minnie's on the Go, where we're going to be opening up Minnie's Food Pantry in different schools and in our communities. You will. When you hear about this program, you will call all of your friends and your family to tell them to join you. But I think, Robert, it takes a special person. It takes a special team to do the work that we do. And I've had everybody on. I didn't tell each one of them they're special on the show right now, but I'm telling you, I know that I have one of the best teams that's in the world. I don't even want to say in the Metroplex. And to share those type of stories, and to my viewers, for my viewers to know, that's just one story. There are so many stories that we will be sharing with you and bringing on people right here to sit right in front of this camera and let you know how your donations to Minnie's Food Pantry has helped them go just one more step, how your donations made the difference between them giving up and going just one more day, how your donations turned a frown into a smile, how your donations gave them a complete meal. When you hear grown men cry and say, the only time that I will put meat on my table is when I get to Minnie's Food Pantry, that will make you give even more. And so we're going to bring to you the faces from the places that we all go to let you know what you're doing in the community and how you're making a big, huge difference. And I want you to write to me. My email address is cjackson@minniesfoodpantry.org. Of course, I won't get all the emails. My assistant Zoya, who I introduced you to earlier, she will be getting those emails. But I want you to write to me if this show is doing something for you. Keep the emails coming. Follow me on Twitter, Cheryl Action. As a matter of fact, tweet and tell me that you watched the show. Add Cheryl Action on Twitter. And then like our page on Facebook. It's Minnie's Food Pantry at Facebook, and it's also Cheryl Action Jackson at Facebook. We're going to be coming into your home every single morning at 7:30. Will you please ask your friends, ask your enemies, and anybody else to join you in watching the Cheryl Action Jackson Show. Thank you for joining us. This is Dr. Cheryl Action Jackson.
See, I won't change.